What's going on, everyone? Nicholas Natt, and you are tuned into the Natt Fitness Method.
You crazy mother.
The Natt Fitness Method is a platform. It's a platform to be able to focus on optimizing your life and taking your health to the next level. So our goal with the show and company are to be able to provide you with those strategies and also show you exactly how to move from point A to your new point B. All right, my guest here that I have sitting on my right is an incredible person, friend. She's been an athlete for many, many, many years, from everything from basketball, the track, softball, and even football. Yes, you guys heard me right, football. She's gone through the ranks of being able to reach some of the highest levels, only to have the legs swept out from underneath her by a tremendous amount of injury, having foregone many emotional boundaries as well as psychological. She found her way, climbing back to the top, fighting to become one of the premier athletes in the LFL, and now she's going to sit here and show you guys exactly how she did it. So please help me welcome my good friend and your host for the show, Lindsay Q. Lindsay, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. That was a sweet introduction.
Well, it was very
Am I blushing if I didn't have blush
Of
on?
course, right.
That
But
was
it's
cool.
always the truth, right? So this is remarkable.
That was
As you guys know, Lindsay and I have had a chance to actually connect the first time through a photo shoot. We didn't know each other, so we're just two
We'd act like we
athletes showing up, and it was funny because we were kind of just thrown in.
Yeah, with some chains.
You had the chains.
Not dirty.
We'll look a picture. I mean,
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. It was,
I guess it depends
was
on what
cool.
you think about.
It's a cool looking picture, so let you judge that for it.
Yeah.
But we had a chance to have quite a few conversations. I've had a chance to really learn about what you've foregone. So it's kind of cool because usually I think when people have a chance of looking at someone like you and they see the personality, they see the confidence, they see what's happening on media, they're like, holy shit, like, here's a girl who's got it figured out, she has it all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, taken a lot of effort and a lot of work to get to that point, but the reality is there's a story behind that, right? And so what's kind of cool is people see you and, you kind of have this, like, two sides to the coin. On one side, obviously you're very feminine, you have this very gleaming, beautiful appeal, but on the other side you're kind of like, hey, don't screw with me.
Is this when we do the
I
flex?
will. You can.
Don't compare.
You're like, hey, you'll kick some ass. I saw your Instagram you posted the other day when you're in martial arts and you're doing some kickboxing, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about this side. You kind of have this duality. Where did that come from?
Just growing up. I mean, that's how I got attention from my dad. So, it was, that's how I got love, honestly, was what I did with sports.
Right. You spoke a lot about your relationship with your dad, and you really dove into a lot about the fact that, your dad was hard. Now, so many kids, and I think so many people now who were kids previously can relate to that story because they were in a position where they grew up with very authoritarian parents, where the parents were super strict, where the parents were, not as, social about their emotions. They didn't really know how to navigate that, right? So your dad was hard on you.
Very much. Yeah.
You were a great athlete, and so that bonded you guys. So elaborate a little bit on that.
It's like a double-edged sword,
Yeah.
Because it was like tough love type of thing,
Okay.
But it was just, my dad didn't really know how to express emotion, as I think most of us have that issue,
Sure.
And it was just a way that we could connect and something that he was interested in. He wanted to give me an opportunity that he didn't get growing up. His dad was an alcoholic, so he wasn't ever there for him or anything. And I totally respected that. It was just because I had a little bit more talent than my brother. He was just a lot harder on me, and that tough love, I struggled with that because I got coaches that were like that as well, instead of
Well, they saw the potential, and so
Right.
they want to almost try to save you.
Totally.
And really steered, and doing that, they don't really let you bloom. They just kind of want to take over and drive the car.
Or let you choose,
Exactly.
you're doing this because, with football, I chose to do it. My dad did not support that at all, especially with the uniform. how to think for ourselves too. And there's so much we're all capable of it if we have that belief, you know.
Well, I think the hard part about that, like you said, is when you're in a position where people recognize potential, it almost becomes preordained. Like it kills.
Well, you get pressure put on you. Like you have people kind of
absolutely.
almost riding your coattails in a way, because unfortunately society rewards attention, and
Yes.
we give attention to people that I wouldn't necessarily say we should
Yeah,
or deserve it so much, you know.
Right.
Just because you can catch a football, or why don't we do it for the people that are, you know, out feeding the hungry and stuff like that. It's just we have a misconstrued perception on what's attention and what's society grabbing, and we also get taught like to squash our dreams right away. Like if your dad, you wanted to be an astronaut, they'd be like, you know, just that disbelief, and automatically you can't believe in. And we don't go after like our passion and what we're really good at. We're not taught to think like, what is that I really love, and like let me go for it. And it doesn't always have to be what's in this box.
So I want to talk a little bit about the consequences of that, because I think so many people can relate to that, whether it be a coach, a mentor, parents, you know, a social group that, you know, really kind of has this huge impact and this molding on your life, and then you sort of just kind of follow in the footsteps, right? Well, you had a pivotal point, right? So you're playing basketball at the top level and you're scouted, and then something happens.
Well, I could have went honestly better with it.
Yeah.
But I got put into a really tough coach right away, and he would like be like, "You fucking suck," and like I would miss a layup, and like then I would have my dad that was hard on me on top of it. And I mean, the girls I played with, they were, you know, Division I, making it WNBA, like awesome athletes.
Right.
He ended up hanging himself in jail because he molested like half the team. So that was like kind of my start to not liking sports.
Okay.
And then it went on to getting an injury, which is what you're talking about.
An injury.
Yeah, I was going up for a layup and I got hit. And that's kind of when shit went, woo!
What
what do I do?
Yeah, what happened?
So I blew out my ACL, MCL, meniscus.
Okay, so like the knee is
done.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't even walk. Like I know some people that blow out their knee,
Sure.
they're still walking. I really struggled with getting, but not only did that wrench my, you know, the injury, it was like, this is my life, this is my identity, this is how I get attention from my dad.
Like, did you know, like, once the injury happened, was it like, I mean, obviously, you're
I was out on the
shit,
field, like, I couldn't get off.
That was,
yeah.
you knew.
And I mean, I played with a broken ankle before, because I chipped my bone, like, but that I couldn't, that was rough, yeah.
Right. So you're injured, and again, I don't want to infer, but there's this loss of connection. Now, did that impact basically the fact that you're going to try to speed up the process and rehab when you're not fully healed, only to further and forego another injury or for more injuries, right? So is that's
totally? I mean, totally. And then when you're hurt, like, and you have that depression set in and that sadness set in, and these feelings and emotions that I did not know what to do with, because in my household it was anger that was acceptable, or happy. Like there was no in between, and you didn't express that. Especially that was with my dad too. Like, you're not a pussy. You don't fucking, you know, you're tough. You can handle getting hit. You know, that mentality. Kind of more guys are taught.
Sure. Shrug it off, rub dirt in it.
The hardest part was, how did I handle the emotional side? You know, not only is it physically the trauma, but and then what's going on with like how my dad's feeling on top of how I'm feeling. I didn't even know. So I used, you know, I would stuff. That's when I started using food a little bit, because that's what my mom would do. You know, you're kind of taught whatever your household does.
We all end up turning to something, right? Your coping mechanism never having really had like a platform to figure out how to channel emotion and how to cognitively deal with that, is to use a substance.
Well,
food.
I mean, I didn't realize that sports was an outlet too, and not only that, like you have connection with it too. So it's kind of like you're getting love and you're getting connection, and it's actually exercise moves energy. If people are, you know, so I didn't realize. Now I understand that more.
Right.
But yeah, so I was like, oh, I'm supposed to feel my feelings and cry, and you know, and it'll go away. It almost felt like the end of the world, like if you felt sad.
Right.
So yeah, it was like, what's the quickest thing you want to do when you feel something bad? You want to stuff it.
Change your state.
Because you don't want to feel it. You're like, if I feel this, it's going to be the end of the world. You know, so.
Cap it down.
Right.
Right.
And food worked for me. I mean, there's alcohol or sugar in my house.
Everyone,
kind of, you know, and I mean, I think that's American in general. I mean,
right. you end up going into this space, and sooner or later, basically, you're done with school, and you're not playing athletics anymore, and you're find yourself, like most people, just in this like space of like limbo.
Well, yeah, you're like, all right, what do I do with my life?
Which
you're supposed to figure that out in college, right? But it's like, oh, pick a degree, even though you've never experienced it. You don't have a clue who you are, really.
Exactly.
But go find something that you love.
Right.
Yeah, that's what you do.
So to not date either of us, but this is the popular time when MySpace is out, right?
Right.
And you get hit up from, at the time was called the Lingerie Football League, which is still the LFL, but now it's the Legends Football League, right? So they see you on MySpace, they're like, yo.
Yeah, I got sent like an invite to try out. Yeah.
Awesome.
And I
so
was like,
what was that like? Like, could you get hit up out of nowhere? You're just
when you just like have that, like you just know something's right for you. It's kind of like
yes.
I just got that, like I knew inside that
it's like
this
an
was
intuition.
right. Like there was something about it that was there for me.
Okay, absolutely.
It was also like something to train for again and like get to redo all that.
Right.
Meet some new girls is really what I wanted, more connection.
So it was
and
good.
have a reason to be in shape.
You already knew, having had the paradigm from an athlete and having the bond with the other girls and the other athletes and being in that space,
Totally.
this was something slowly motivated for yourself. This had nothing to do with...
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I always wanted to be like a cheerleader too. I always thought their outfits were fun. But as an athlete, you're wearing the baggier shorts. So it was cool because it was like you got to be like kind of a fitness competitor, like what you do.
Sure.
And you got to be an athlete. So I was like, wow, this is awesome. On top of meeting girls. And we're supposed to get paid. So I was like, hell yes. This is what I want to do, And I'm an Aquarius. Look at me, I have.
You have the opportunity to show up to the audition. Was that Sports Authority Field?
Well, and
Dick's Sporting Goods.
So I had just gotten out of rehab too for an eating disorder at that time. So it was like something to give me something to look forward to, and I wanted to create like a healthier way to get in shape too, because I was not healthy myself in multiple ways, So that combination was it was cool. It was a challenge that I wanted to. But yeah, it was at Dick's Sporting Goods Stadium. I actually didn't make it the first night I tried out because of my weight. They were like, you have a great face, you're a good athlete, but they were looking for models at the time, which is like I don't want to say anorexic, but very slender. That was the look then,
Okay.
Kind of like the Playboy bunny with the big
Bill
fake
with
boobs,
the
like
stuff,
you're
right.
this, and I didn't have that. I was definitely not that.
Right.
But I wanted to, I was like, all right. But they ended up having a second tryout, and I was still scared as shit to go.
How much time between the first one and the second?
It was probably like 3 weeks or a month or so.
Oh, okay, so not long.
Because they were initially trying to get like photo shoot done with the first team. We got to start promoting it since it was a new league. And I mean, it was unlike anything I had done, where you have to bring like a headshot. I was like, what the fuck? I've never done a photo, And then where you're getting judged on your looks and your body,
Yeah.
So that was totally, and then it wasn't, there's all these cameras, it's a huge venue, very intimidating, and I was very insecure in myself too, but I'm glad I felt the fear and did it anyway,
So you end up booking it, like you're in, and talk to me like, what is that even like? Because, I mean, I'm a fan, right? LFL, like it's, I know, many people are, and it's funny because, you almost like to think like, oh, well, it's, women playing football until you watch, I don't know, the first 20 seconds, and you're like, oh my,
they're pretty crazy.
Oh, wow, like,
yeah.
You guys go out there with some like ambition and like the
Yeah.
hitting, the full I mean, it's the full works, right? So, I mean, explain to me what it's like, on all these different virtues. You're playing again, you're bonded with the girls, have all this, pressure again, you're kind of finding yourself back in a space in a new sport. Obviously, you have the talent to play it, and then at the same time, you're kind of, cultivating a new identity around, the beauty and the beast at the same time.
Totally,
So what is all that?
It was super challenging for me. And they also wouldn't let me wear the uniform, like for promotions and stuff where other girls could, until I was at a certain weight that they called okay. So I felt kind of like I was always one of the better athletes, not to be like I was but then because I didn't have the looks, I got treated a little bit differently. Because of it. Which I wouldn't say that's... It was kind of a mixed thing. You have those deep inner beliefs, but then you also have like, this is just something I really think is fucking cool and I want to do it, you know?
You have something pushing you, and then you have something
I wanted to be good at it.
Different forces,
totally,
right? Gotcha.
You know? But I mean, I think sometimes we use beliefs that aren't necessarily the best for us to drive us, kind of like bodybuilders a lot of times. They might have been picked on when they were little, or they want, you know...
Yeah.
So that drives them to be this amazing core, instead of doing it for more of a love-based reason, it's a fear-based.
If you're able to go back and teach yourself and be like a mentor or advisor, or even have like notes, or if you knew somebody else, what would be like the questions you would ask them, or what would be the points that you'd want them to acknowledge and utilize that would have helped you?
It's not, I guess, kind of not points, but there's certain teachers that I found recently that I wish I would have had, and it would be learning your own self, to thy own self be true. So what makes you tick? What does your body need? What do you need nutritionally? You know, what's your love language? What, you know, like for me, I like quality time. I feel love like that. There's a lot of different things that make us integrate. That's not the right, what the fuck word did I just say? There's a lot of things that make us tick. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Really learning about myself and what makes me happy, not what makes me trying to make you happy.
How does a person discover that for themselves? What makes them happy?
Well, I think first you have to kind of just learn to get in touch with your higher self, I would say.
Like a spiritual connectedness.
Yeah, and like go out and explore things and like, hey, I like this, or try different hair, or try different, you know, a lot of times we just follow kind of whatever, but again, when we're growing up, you don't have a choice, you're in a certain environment.
I think there's a trend, especially with like adolescence and early adulthood, where there's kind of, it's easy to conform, but you're almost expected to do that. And I think, you know, people who have the capacity to feel what they do from experience, you know, the first-hand level, and then be able to, like you said, nurture that. You know, being in a position where you're, like you said, trying new hair. If you've always worn your hair this way, but you think it's cool, but you've never done it, then it's like go do that. You know, I think so much of us get so intimidated by judgment. You know, what is my peer group going to think, or
what society?
What is society going to think? That person who wears their hair like that, what attachment to stereotypes does it come with? And so you would advise people to go out and have those
explore. You know, figure out how you learn. You know, we all have different ways we learn. Like that's huge, because I had issues with learning disabilities because they did not teach me the way they don't teach. Wow, what if you knew how you learned, and then you knew how someone could teach you better. Right.
Your processing is going to be
totally
different. Right.
And the biggest thing, like how to deal with your feelings and emotions in a healthy way. Because I don't care who you are, if you do not know how to be happy within yourself, all the millions, all the success in the world does not mean shit. So that to me is, again, how to love yourself and how to deal with your feelings and emotions in a healthy way.
But I think so many people don't give themselves self-love. I think it's easy for people to beat themselves up.
Right, because
how do people...
I think society, we think you're selfish for doing that. And the crazy thing, it's like whenever you're on a plane, right? Put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you help someone else. Right. If you can't breathe first, you can't help the other person. Right. The problem is it's generations doing it. So whatever people's environment, their parents aren't doing it. Their parents' weren't doing it. You know? I feel like it needs to be taught before you get the addictions and things like I had. Had I had the skills before that happened, yes, life's going to challenge you. There's going to be things, that's what we're here for. We're here to learn, you know? But man, if someone gave me this simple techniques that I've learned now with Joey Klein and conscious transformation, amazing. Like, God, my life would be completely different right now. I look at it now like it was all part of what I needed to go through to be where I'm at, but the suffering that there is out there, it doesn't have to be there. I mean, suicide rates now are up 70%. I heard on one of the shows where he stepped out about politics. Bill Maher. for girls especially because of social media and things. But there's just, we all need to learn how to handle our feelings and emotions and healthy. We're all dealing with stress. Everyone has that. Everyone has, and we have to be taught that it's okay. Like, there's literally like 38,000 different emotions or something crazy like that.
Right.
And I think most people literally only know how to maybe feel 3.
How is it that you have people who are able to have such a crashing impact on the lives of other people?
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny is they have the complete autonomy to create whatever life they want, and they can live in a sensational utopia or a place of serenity and happiness and still be authentically grateful and selfless, and at the same time very introspective and very forward-coming with their needs. And I think that only happens through rigorous amounts of training and reinforcement.
Totally. Yep.
But the difference is the majority of people end up living from an outside-in perspective, and it's like, if I'm outside in a paradise, I'm going to feel and receive the paradise, and therefore my emotions are going to reflect that, and I'm going to respond to the stimuli. Whereas if you're in purgatory, your emotions are going to reflect that, and you're going to come from a fear-based mindset.
Exactly. It's either love or fear. That's what my tattoo is.
When you're in a position, I think, internally where you can say, I am love, and I can come from that, you can be at either at the spectrum or between, but you can create that.
And energy attracts.
Yes.
Yeah, energy's huge.
Well, I think because, Viktor Frankl, you familiar with who that is?
Mm-mm.
He survived the Holocaust. He has a
Okay,
book
cool.
Man
Similar
Search for
like
Meaning.
Nelson Mandela with the jail, yeah.
Yes. And
Crazy.
it was like 25 or 30 years. He was in
wow.
all these different boot camps, and everyone and everything he knew was incinerated dead.
Wow.
But, I think when you think about the hardships and you listen to the book, it might end up actually happening. What was so fascinating is it's just like, how did you do that?
They mastered your internal state.
I think he mastered the internal state.
It's the internal state.
Like, man,
that's where it's at.
Joke. That's, I think, superpower, because
I agree.
at that point you
I agree.
really have full power over your life.
What do we really want? Anything that you go for is because you think it's going to make you feel better than having of it.
Right.
So, if you can master that, oh my God, just what it means to be happy. That's where fucking.
Well, I think that's what people
go.
It's always right. Like, it's the chase, success. I get the car, the money, the house.
They think that's gonna make them happy.
It's gonna make them happy,
right?
And I think
that's what I thought too. With
happiness must ensue.
Right.
I think was that a Jim Rohn quote? Might have been Jim Rohn. Happiness must ensue, and then life will. Yeah. It's fascinating.
It is.
All right. We live.
We're live. We've been live.
Did you get all that?
Oh.
Save that. That's good content behind the scenes footage. You could save that. So you're in a position now where you would go out and you would teach all of these things and really try to help, make the shifts in how people are able to cope, not because they should ignore the emotions, but being able to quantify and understand, what do the emotions mean?
Mm-hmm.
What do they mean for me? And not be reactive. Oh, I feel, so therefore,
right.
Let me go and come from a fear-based
Emotions drive
mindset,
actions, and then actions is when you
feel and be able to come back and think, so that way they can do the effective strategy and create different outcomes, right? And like you said, really, the whole objective of observation is to look at the experience from a secondary or tertiary perspective and learn the lesson without having to personally deal with the consequence. And I think for you, like you said, you had to forego a lot of suffering because it was personal.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with now having the skill set, somebody who's able to listen to your story could, bypass some of the pain and just go right to the next level. It's kind of like watching the Mario game and watching how someone else did it, and then how. So what would be your advice to anyone in a position who is going or about to walk right into a plunder of life's, turmosity or shithole, and just doesn't know exactly how they're going to handle this, or the only thing they're equipped with to go into that battle is what they learned from their parents or peers,
Right.
and they don't know.
So the first thing, you can't do it by yourself, and I think that's another thing that's part of self-love, is learning how to. Receiving is a hard thing for us. Like, it's easy to give for most people. Again, I'm speaking generally, but learning how to receive and ask for help. You can't do something that you've never been taught. You know, it's kind of like if I was going to go play basketball, I wouldn't know what I'm doing. Yeah, I could observe maybe someone playing, but I'm not going to have that basic fundamentals. You need to seek people that are going to create those fundamentals for you. So I call it fundamentals of life, honestly. And most of us aren't taught that. Like, when like that goes back to what I was saying.
Yeah.
How to deal with your feelings and emotions in a healthy way. How to love yourself. What does that mean? And there's different things that resonate differently with different people. So you kind of have to follow that inner calling too. Kind of like, why did you go with your life coach? You know, there's probably something about them that, you know, just like I found through my life coach,
Absolutely.
Joey Klein, which I'm grateful for. And he resonates for me. And he might not, you know, we're all different. How we learn and how someone resonates is all different. So.
Yeah. Has to be a spontaneous.
You gotta seek help.
It has to be a very genuine connection, though. It can't be, oh, my brother did that, so I'm going. It has to be very.
The other
it's
thing,
an intimate thing. It's an intimate thing.
Huge is like you don't seek help from someone that's not living the life. They have to be embodying that life first. So that's the biggest, like, and that's what I'm working towards. I need to be an embodiment of what I'm trying to help other people with first, before I can ever go out and help someone else. People that try to teach what they aren't doing themselves, they're not going to be able to help you. And if there's like, it's kind of like if you want to create, you know, if I wanted to be a bodybuilder, I would come to you. You've created a successful business with it. You know what you're doing, versus like, am I going to go to someone that's, you know, 300 pounds and never lifted a weight? That's just kind of common, you know.
Yeah.
Think about it like that.
It's completely paradoxical.
Right. But again, it's always about filling our cup first, and then we can help other people.
I love that.
So.
All right. Well, I want to get a chance to ask one more question, but prior to doing that, how can these people find out more about you, what you're doing, and connect with you?
So you can follow me on Instagram. I don't have a YouTube yet. I'm working
Not
on
yet.
it, but
Coming.
Yeah,
Lindsay.Q. I go just by Q, but yeah, you can follow me in there. I'm not huge on Facebook.
Instagram.
Yeah, that's kind of where it's at right now. Yeah.
Right. Lindsay, what is your impact that you want to create, or what kind of super power or super person are you interested in bringing into the world to make it more the reality you want to see?
Yeah, so I'm still getting super clear on that, but I mean, you know, people trigger us no matter everywhere. I want to be a trigger of like self-love and inspiration to people. So I want to be I want to embody that and be a walking superhero essentially. Like whatever I can do to help people not suffer like I did and people suffer is what I want to do. There's such a need for it. So, and again, it goes back to learning to love yourself and deal with your emotions in a healthy way. At least that's my passion. I know which would have helped me. But yeah, my goal is just to literally trigger people to fucking feel inspired, you know? And know, like we all need someone to believe in us. Like, that is so huge. And just, if I could trigger that just for one person, that'd be amazing. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lindsay,
Yeah.
for coming. We appreciate it. You guys, be sure to definitely connect with Lindsay on her journey and find out more about what it is she's doing and how you can take the information that she's been able to use and incorporate as tools to be able to optimize your life, bypass the suffering, and get closer and very clear on what you need to do to get and be your best self. I'm Nicholas Natt. This is the Natt Fitness Method. Until next time, we're signing off.
And there's just so much more, like, we need to be an entrepreneur. I cannot say that word.
Entrepreneur.
Thank you.
Entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur. I'm not just saying it.